Have you ever heard of the Ogoja people? Okay, maybe you've heard of the Ogoja people. What about the Angas people? What about the Okpe people, the people from Ibuzo? Or you only know the Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, and maybe the Efik and the Igbo people? Good morning, everybody. You are listening to the NYC radio station, 88.3 FM, and my name is Ella. I'm going to backtrack again and greet you again. I would say, Mesierendeo, my people, Mingwo, Ola Odudu, Digwo, Inakwana, Ekaro, Otutuoma. And also just imagine me saying good morning in whatever language you speak, because unfortunately I'm not able to speak every Nigerian language. But I hope that you're doing good. I hope you're doing great. This morning we're going to be discussing the mother tongue, because today, being the 21st of February, happens to be the International Mother Language Day. And so what that means is that we are celebrating our mother languages, not just in Nigeria but all around the world. Okay, and that is a way that we can celebrate the beauty and the diversity and the importance of our Nigerian language. We already know that we were colonized by the British people, and because of that, it is already very normalized to speak English in Nigeria, which is fine, right? Our universal language in Nigeria is English, but then what happens to the other languages that are actually spoken in the places we are from? It will interest you to know that Nigeria has over 500 languages. 500. How many do you know? I don't even think that I personally know up to 100 Nigerian languages, but there are about 500 languages in Nigeria, and a lot of them are going extinct because we're not speaking them. We're not passing this down to our children. A lot of children that are being born into Nigerian homes now do not speak their native languages, but English is spoken on and on and on. And so today is not just about communication, it's about our identity, our culture, our heritage. Our mother tongue is the first language that we learn when we are born, but the people that don't speak their mother language cannot relate to this right now, so kindly exit the group chat. But our mother tongue is the first thing that we learn when we are born, and languages are not just for us to be spoken. They shape the way that we perceive our culture, they shape the way that we perceive the things that are around us. And there is a statistic that says every 2 weeks a language disappears, because generally in the world we have about 7,000 languages being spoken, the whole world entirely, and every 2 weeks one language disappears. That's very sad. That means a particular culture goes away from the surface of the earth every 2 weeks. It goes into extinction. Nobody knows anything about them. Nobody hears about them again because their language is no longer spoken. So language is not just about it's not just about communication. It's about our identity and our heritage. Okay, so we need to highlight the need to promote diversity in languages. We need to highlight the need to promote diversity in our language, because when a language dies, like I said, a part of our cultural heritage also dies along with it. And language carries the history, it carries traditions, and it carries a way that you can communicate the unique perspective of your community to the world. Okay, so I want you to think about this for a minute. How proud are you of your language? How proud are you to come from Benue State, where you speak Idoma and Tiv and Igede and all the other tribes in Benue that we don't know about? How proud are you to be from Nasarawa State, where you are not necessarily Hausa speakers, but you have your own mother tongue? How proud are you to be from the western part of Nigeria, where even though Yoruba is the popularly known language, you also have your dialect? Are you proud of your mother tongue? I think that you should be. So here's a challenge for you. I'm going to challenge you to do something today, and this is not something we'll just do today. It is a consciousness that we would carry with us. I want you to take a moment to appreciate your mother tongue. See how your language, see how your history, see how your culture shapes the world. How because we have your culture on the map, it makes the world somehow a beautiful place. As core members, when we were in camp, we had this cultural day. No, it's carnival, sorry, it's called carnival. And on that day, depending on the location you are, we see a burst of different traditions. Okay, so we have the big three, the Yoruba, the Hausa, and the Igbo coming up. We have the Baggy people. For those who come to the north, you know the Baggy people. We have the Benin people. We had the Southerners, that's the Efik. We had the Delta people. We had different tribes coming up on our carnival days, and oh my goodness, I can't stop relishing in those memories. How colorful that day was. Very beautiful. The amount of joy that we could perceive from those events were so beautiful, and I don't think it's a memory that we'll forget in a long time. That's just to show you a tip of the iceberg of how beautiful our culture is. So I want you to remember every time you feel as though instead of speaking your language to someone, let's say you're Chiki and you meet someone who is Emeka outside and you want to speak English, always remember how beautiful the world is because there is something called the Igbo language in the world. Always remember how your culture makes the world somehow a better place because it exists. Okay, so I think that we should take small steps. Something as little as conversing with someone in your language would help to make the culture preserved. Okay, it's important for us to preserve our language, preserve our culture, preserve our history, because when it goes extinct, nobody's going to remember it anymore. All right, so let us continue to celebrate the diversity of languages that make our world so beautiful, so rich. And it doesn't matter what language it is. Okay, it's fine, you can speak multiple languages. I have an auntie who speaks 5 Nigerian languages. Okay, so she's originally Yoruba, but she speaks Igbo, she speaks Hausa, she speaks Yoruba, she speaks the Yoruba language, and then she speaks the Igala language. Very amazing, very beautiful, and it's important for us to preserve our culture. It is, the onus is on us. Nobody would, the Chinese man is not going to come and learn Hausa to keep Hausa flowing. Okay, the Chinese man teaches his children to speak Mandarin and they preserve that culture. So it is upon us, it rests on our shoulders as Nigerians to preserve our own culture. Wherever you go, if for whatever reason you end up leaving the country tomorrow, in your household, teach your children to speak Tiv language. Okay, that's how we preserve our culture and that's how we make the world a beautiful place. So this has been the International Day of the Mother Tongue. Let's remember to preserve our languages. And surprisingly, this is the 25th anniversary of this celebration. So it's been 25 years that we've been celebrating our mother tongue, and some of these languages have lasted longer than 25 years. Okay, we were born into these languages, and even after we pass, they will still remain. Okay, so if we want these languages to remain even after we pass, let us continue to strengthen them by passing them around. All right, parents, encourage your children to speak. It's not Junior, bring water for me. You say Junior, nye miri, you know, you tell them food. I'm trying to speak Yoruba, but it's not coming. Fool me or me. I don't know. I'm sorry, Yoruba people. If that was wrong, I'm very sorry. But I'm trying my best. Okay, you will say Daniel Banirua. You know, however you speak it in your language. Always teach your children to speak these languages. All right, and schools, Nigerian schools as well. Let us preserve it. It's not only French that you'll be teaching in schools. Teach children Hausa if you're in the north. If you're in the west, teach them Yoruba, teach them Igbo. If you're in the south, teach them whatever language it is. Inculcate it into the curriculum. That's how we preserve these languages. All right, so our strength lies in our diversity. We've heard this countless times and it is true. We are stronger because of our differences. It is those differences that make us stronger, and our languages are a very big part of these differences. Let us protect them, let us celebrate them, and let us pass it on to future generations. Okay, the world is counting on you to preserve your language. Thank you very much, and this has been the International Day of the Mother Language. All right, so now we're going to do something. When we start our celebrant show, when you call me, you're going to tell me good morning in your language. If you say good morning to me, I'm going to cut the call on you. When you call me, you're going to tell me good morning in your language, and I'll reply in English because I don't know your language. But you would call me and you say good morning to me in your language, then I would reply. Okay, so we're going to start the celebrant show in a bit. Gear up, gear up, gear up. We're celebrating your people today. We're celebrating you today. So gear up. We're starting very soon. Don't go anywhere.